Okay, hello everyone. Welcome to the webinar today. That is actually the information we posted on the LinkedIn is not correct. Today, we will focus on the topic about how to extract results from WindSim. It is I don't remember how many webinars we have hold on, but this one maybe the could be also a quite interesting one, and which was not presented before, I think. We will focus on the practice, how to extract the results from WindSim, including from the safety results and from the measurement scaled results. That's two different parts from safety, pure safety results and from scaled by measurement results. Okay, we will skip this because I think you guys are familiar with me now, so we need to skip this. And that's the agenda for today's webinar. We will do some simple introduction, and then I will focus on how to generate Flores and WRB and how we could use the files in Flores file to do more visualization or check and get more information about your wind fields from Flores file. And then that's the part for pure safety results. And then we will focus on WG file and suffer format, how we could generate those results and what kind of information we could get from this kind of results. And then I will focus on the visualization tools we recently developed. I recently developed and show you guys how this could be visualized. And then the common part best practice summary and the QA sections afterwards. Yeah, and then introduction. Of course, the objective of this kind of this webinar is we need to learn how to extract the results from WindSim. That's basically the idea of this webinar. The first part is Flores and WRB file. Flores for WindPro. I think you guys should be quite familiar with this. Flores was generated from WindSim, which could be imported into WindPro to do further analysis in WindPro. And WRB file, which is prepared by WindSim for OpenWind. And it could be imported into OpenWind so that you could do further analysis on OpenWind, for example, to check the turbulence intensity to calculate AP in those tools. And let me see. This kind of results could be generated, could be export from this menu, from export menu here, export WindPro Flores file or export OpenWind WRB file. I would like to say Flores file is kind of more user-friendly. It is ASC format, so that you could check the content of this file. But WRB file is binary file. You cannot do anything on that, basically. At least I cannot do anything. Yes, if you click this, there's a information, there's a notice here. It says Flores file export is possible for non-neutral condition as long as the atmospheric stability is the same in all sectors. But I would like to say by using, a replacement method, you could use the safety results you obtain from other, for example, stable case. Just you could run stable case by using exactly the same grid system horizontally and vertically, exactly the same cells, but different stability setting-ups. You could use those results to replace the same safety results in the wind fields in the neutral simulation results. You could also generate the forest fire, which include different stability. It is possible. It is possible. Yeah, of course, if you have this kind of questions, just send a support ticket. We could help you on this. If you would like to combine safety results from different stability study into one forest fire, it is possible. It is possible. And then if you click, of course, if you click OK, and yeah, of course, if you click OK here, what's why? Okay, if you click OK, forest fire will be generated in the project folder in WindFields. This directory in WindFields folder in this folder, basically, for each project. And then I have copied this forest fire I generated for this project into this demo folder. That is a forest EMD. It used to be so-called forest fire. What you will obtain from this tool, from the extract menu, export menu, is this kind of flow EMD forest fire. But basically, if you unname it, change it to be zip file, it could be uncompressed. It could be uncompressed. And you could have this kind of different files. You could have different files when you unpress it. And the most important part, for example, is the wind flow results XML file. That basically include the information about your safety simulation. You could use Notepad++ to open this XML file. And yeah, this kind of file just include the information about your wind fields and about different variables for different layers. When I say layers, it basically vertical layers in different height. So you can see it include different files. Different files in contain different informations. For example, here the first part is kind of wind field information, horizontal wind field information, include different sectors, different height. And then you could also check out the inclination at a different height for different sectors. Here, inclination means inflow angle for these wind fields. And also turbulence intensity information, which is also included in the forest fire. And then turn is kind of turning angles information. You know, when wind flow in this area, the angle for each different sectors it is not fixed. For example, when it for sector 0, this kind of turning angle could be different. It cannot kept as 0 always. it could change a little bit when it move around a mountain, a hill, or when it was blocked by something. It could change. So in this in this file, you could check those informations. You could check those informations. And here you could also have the information about elevation grid. That basically is the elevation height for this site. Of course, you could also use, for example, here I opened one grid file that is horizontal wind speed for sector 0 at height 130. So you could check this kind of format, this kind of file, but maybe you may think how we can visualize it. It is also doable through. Let me show you through global mapper. It is possible. Let me show you. Just for example, if I would like to visualize the horizontal wind speed for sector 0 at 130, then open global mapper or drag and drop this file to global mapper. It could be opened directly. But of course, you need to know the coordinate of this simulation. For this one, for this specific one, it is this, yeah, zone 48. Now you can see this is the horizontal wind speed for sector 0 at 130. And then you could play a little bit. For example, if you would like to change the valid wind speed here, yeah, global mapper can only treat those values as elevation. So you could change this. This basically is the wind speed. So by this way, you can, of course, check or visualize the wind speed for different sectors. And yeah, we could also check the turbulence intensity by the same way. For example, turbulence intensity 130. Yeah, this one. Just drag and drop on global mapper. Yes, same coordinate system. And then the turbulence intensity map was visualized here. And for this one, maybe you would like to focus on a reasonable range of the turbulence intensity. You could check this to be 0.2 or some values, so as that you could have better understanding on the turbulence intensity for that sector. That's the way we could use fluoresce file to have better understanding and to visualize and to have better understanding on what we can do from the fluoresce file. Yeah, fluoresce file is very user friendly, and you can unzip it and get those details. It could be very useful when you do this kind of analysis. That is the way I usually handle the fluoresce file. For WB fire, it is like what I said, it is binary fire, and I cannot do anything. I cannot do anything. But for fluorescent fire, that's another story. It is good. It is good. And then that's what I need to emphasize. That is, both fluorescent fire and WRB fire are pure safety results. There's no measurement information included in these files. And fluorescent file could be unzipped and visualized through Global Mapper. You could check those files. That's the first part. And second part is WRG file. WRG file is also very popular. When we deliver results to our customers, WRG file is almost must have deliverables. But I think you guys should be very familiar with this already. That is in wind resources module. And here, if you would like to export WRG files, you could turn this into true. You could turn this into true. And then you could also choose to export or not, or change the type, whether you would like to export the complete grid or just a refinement area, or even use a area you could define. You could define, yeah, the area, for example, the maximum X, the minimum and maximum X and Y range. That's something. And also the resolution you would like to export. That's something you could define if you would like to use user defined area. I think most of you guys should be very familiar with this already, so I will not explain about this. But there's two other options, that is export to ASCII format and export to suffer format. If you turn this on, basically you will have two types of different files. One is wind resource client. This is a wind resource file. It is ASCII format. That include different information here. For example, that is what I exported. If you enable ASCII format export of the wind resource file, this file has been arranged in this way, including the information like X, Y, Z. This basically is a coordinate, and also includes the mean wind speed, and ambient mean wind turbulence intensity, inflow angle, and shear, and also TI ambient 90%. This kind of ambient turbulence intensity as well. So this file is also very useful, and you could check wind speed at different location, and also do visualization by using a third-party tools. For example, if you choose X, Y, and V, and import into a XYZ format, then it could be also import into a Global Mapper to do the visualization. Yeah, just like what I emphasized, this wind resource file is already measurement scaled file. It is different from what I have shown you before. It is pure safety results before, but here it is already measurement scaled data. And then we could also have some export from WindSim when we enable export to Suffer format. If we turn this into true, then you could check two different files. That the first one is simulation results sector-wise in WindFields grid. And if you check these files, you can see this is just quite similar to what we obtained from the Flores file for different sectors. But here we have only the hub height, the height we defined in the wind resource module. We have only this. And in these files, you could also see the flow inclination angle, the mean wind speed, orographic speed, that is turning speed, and also the turbulence intensity here. So if you open this, you can see the format is just exactly the same as what we have from Flores file. From Flores file. And of course, you could also use a global mapper to visualize this kind of file. It could be very useful when you generate the report. And then we could also have the wind resource map that is saved in the layout energy grid file. And let me show you guys where is it. It should be here. Layout 1, for example. Oh. Yeah, energy module grid. And for different climatology or for different metamasts, the results could be different. And also for if you have multiple multiple metamasts, you could have combined results as well. For this type of output, you could have measurement scaled, measurement integrated, or measurement combined results already. It is also include this kind of grid file, resource grid sector, all. That basically means it is scaled, averaged wind speed or mean wind speed for all sectors already. It's different from what we have before in the WindFields folder. In the WindFields folder, it is different. This is the pure wind resource map. It is wind resource map. Of course, if you like, you could also that's it. You could also drop this, for example, drop this into a global mapper to visualize it. Ooh. Why? Okay. Comes quite slow now. But anyway, we could do that. We could do that. We could check this later, and then actually we could also see some SCO files. You know, this SCO files basically is something we visualized. We used to visualize in WindSim, like this one. We basically in WindSim we use those SCO file to visualize those parameters. And if you open this kind of files, for example, wind resource SCL file, you can see this is also ASC format file, and you will be able to see that this kind of file is quite similar to this one. Is quite similar to this one, to this grid file. Just a lack of this kind of header of the file. Basically, you could copy this. You could copy this header of the file, and also here you need to input the maximum and minimum value of this one. That is wind resource file. That's a wind speed basically. Yeah, it should be like this one 0. Yeah, you should be able to read the minimum speed value and maximum wind speed value and input it here. It will turn out to be a grid file. Exactly, grid file. So as that for all SCL file, it could also convert into grid file and use group mapper to visualize. And once I was asked whether how to say, one customer asked me whether it is possible to generate this one. To use the third-party tool to visualize this kind of picture. That is basically the widening of the MetaMask for this area. And basically, if you know where this kind of picture comes from, it is basically visualized by this wind resource widening, and this is SCL file. If you change this SCL file and add a header of the files, you could convert this file into a grid file so that you can use the third-party tool to visualize it. It is also possible. And okay, and then basically that's the safety files and also measurement scaled files. We could extract it from WindSim. And then you can see that we still realize on some third-party tools like Group Mapper to visualize it. And recently, we developed some new visualization tools so as that we could have better understanding on the wind fields. I think I can show you some effect of this kind of new visualization tool. It should be in para. Yeah, here. It is one example I have developed, including some cutting plan. It could be opened by a browser directly, and you could zoom in and zoom on, and also rotate it. Yeah, you could use this kind of visualization tool to generate wind speed. Let's see. And turbulence intensity. Oh, this could be pretty large. Yeah, it will take a longer to. Yeah, you could check this kind of result in three-dimensional. In browser. Yeah, in browser, it should be much easier. And also, we could also do the particle tracing. For example, this one. Could take a while. Yeah, this new visualization tool will not like the previous one, which was integrated in WindSim. You could generate it very easily just by input the direction you would like to check, and also how many seeds, how many streamlines you would like to have for that direction. This kind of tool could be used to check whether there's any there's any recirculation zone in this area. For example, what I have shown you is like the hub height 130 meter. What's the streamline would look like? But you know, for hub height, the recirculation zone could not be there, but maybe for lower height, there will be recirculation zone. So you could check these kind of streamlines at different height as well. Yeah, unfortunately, for this kind of large wind field, it could take some time to prepare prepare this kind of cartoon. It is also possible. We deliver this kind of visualization tool for some customers, if needed. For example, for this one, for this area, you can see for this area, the streamline curved and turning directions rapidly. So basically, we could figure out in that area, in this area. I think I don't have enough memory to operate this smoothly. You can see here in this area, streamline will change the direction, and it will turn very rapidly, and it will not move forward at all. That basically means in this area, there's some recirculation zone. And for this one, what I captured is at height 10 meter. So by using this kind of tool to extract the results from WindSim could be very helpful for us to figure out what's the actual wind speed, what's the actual wind flow situation in that area. Yeah. Yeah, we could also visualize the ground. Okay. Yeah. By this one, we could visualize wind speed, turbulence intensity, and also the inflow angle. And we could also visualize the streamlines from different directions and at different height. So as that, you could have better understanding on the wind fields you have for this case. Okay. This kind of new tools was not released yet, and depends on our development team. We have no idea when it could be delivered to our customer yet. But first of all, we still be able to use a global mapper to visualize the results from WindSim. Either it is pure safety results or measurement scaled results. We could use a global mapper and treat those grid file to do the visualization. Okay, I think basically that is what I need to present. What I would like to present today. And so once again, I would like to emphasize that to run WindSim in an efficient way, you need to get full understanding on the results files from WindSim. And also, you could use either Group Mapper or WindSim tools to visualize flow fields and wind resources files if needed. Yeah. Next time, maybe about 2 weeks later, we will have the final webinar on this series. For this series, that's TI assessment and sector management. So if you have any questions, please ask if you have any questions. Yeah.
Thanks a lot, Sven. So currently there are no questions. So
okay.
I think it was the presentation was very clear.
Yeah, I hope so. I hope so. Yeah.
I guess you did a very good job. So I think then if you have any questions that you come up with later, you can just send us an email.
Yeah.
So and we will do our best to give a good reply. Yeah. So no questions at the time being, Sven. So then you can just say some final words and then.
Okay. Thank you guys. And I expect to see you guys again 2 weeks later. Yeah. Thank you. Bye.